behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
GC Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Contact here out of turn 4.
Tries to slam the door, but they sends him right back up the racetrack.
Big moment for Boney between him and Dexter. It's Ryan Kuhn yet again out of turn number 4. He's going to win for a second time in the Misfit Touring Series. But it's all about Christian Peterson out front. 9 top 5s, 9 top 10s, 4 times he's finished runner-up. But tonight, it's the first time win here in the Touring Series.
Christian Peterson, after 17 races, finally gets it done.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the final race of the season for the MRL Misfit Touring Series Season number 3. Cannot believe that it is nearly over. Presented by RaceMRL.com and brought to you tonight all on V-Speed. This is going to be fun. It's going to be wild. We are at Stafford Motor Speedway, home of the modifieds. Yet we're hitting them with the late model stocks here tonight. My name is Scott Shive. I'm joined alongside by Gavin Grubbs and our excellent producer Morgan Cook, and cameras provided by Dougie Beard. So Gavin, Our champion has already been named in Kyle Turzak. He won the Triple Crown Showdown Championship last week, as well as the overall season championship. But now it could be a fight for second tonight, because again, there is 102 points on the line per race night. That's 100 points for a race win and 2 possible bonus points with most positions gained and if you led a lap or not. So between Christian Peterson and Jake Grout, it will be a fight between them for who will claim second in this championship for season 3.
That's really the only huge battle we have to look at, is between the two of them. But I think at this point in the season, both of them, I don't think they're looking at that number fighting for second. I think they both just want to finish this race ahead of everyone else that's here tonight. And I think that is their only goal, and I think that's everyone's only goal tonight.
It's definitely. I mean, as much as Grout would love to finish second, or Peterson would love to finish second anyway, both of them know that that second place is shy of the championship, which is what their goal was when we opened this season back in November. Here we are in Stafford Springs, Connecticut, half a mile oval here. And this oval, very interesting. It's kind of, you take 2 different lines between turns 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4, but it's just 7 to 9 degrees of progressive banking in the 4 corners, just a little bit, 2 degrees on the front straightaway, paved in 1967, but opened all the way in 1870. And Gavin, there is a reason that Stafford is so historic, and it opening in 1870 is one of the big causes of that.
Yeah, I mean, this racetrack's older than race cars, so take for that what you will. They were racing, I assume, horses on it way back when.
Well, also going on in the MRL, the league right now with the Misfit Racing League, we got some openings. Let's see, the Misfit Summer Series. Let's go ahead and start with that. Paid entry Super Late Model Championship featuring open setups and broadcasted right here on V-Speed. It'll be 9 races this season for the Summer Series, and it will start on May 26th, running all the way to September 15th, where then, Gavin, we will have just a 6-week break until we get to the season 4 of the Touring Series. We're back with the late models, and so the Super will be fun, Gavin, and hopefully our bosses up at V-Speed will allow you and I to do some Summer Series racing and the Summer Series calling this summer, because, boy, it was fun last season.
Yeah, you say that, talk about wanting to get in that super late model, but I don't know how I can do in a open setup car. I don't know how that feels. I think we should.
I'm talking about you and me in the booth. I'm saying we should stay here. I'm good in the Super, but
I'm in the booth for a reason.
I was going to say I could be out there, but I'm not a setup builder, and I'm definitely better up here in the booth. And as you can see, our schedule from all of this season, it has all come down to this. And we race at Stafford Motor Speedway on what is Pi Day. It's National Pi Day, Gavin. International, excuse me. It is all across the globe, Gavin. International Pi Day. Did you know that?
I guess I knew that. I just didn't realize. Like, I've heard that every year. March 14th. I just didn't realize it was today. I don't pay that much attention. And speaking of things we need to pay attention to, here's the starting grid.
All right, let us check it out. Your starting grid: Christian Peterson qualified with fastest time. Evan Hassler will qualify with the second fastest time. Back behind them, it will be Jake Grout in the 49, putting down a 19.233, and then Kyle Turzak, your Season 3 champion, putting down 4th fastest time. Following along with them, it'll be Christopher Shepard, 5th in the points, and he is 5th on time. Then Tanner Berge in the number 5. No word on the invert just yet. Then in 7th, it'll be Riley Music in the 47. John Leday in the number 22. As always, rounding out your top 10 in row number 5, it'll be Kyle Adams. He is racing with us tonight. Welcome, league owner and mostly race control grad. He is down on the racetrack with us. And Hudson Geiger in the 36 rounds out the top 10.
And rounding out the field, you have Brady Pope in the 04 car, starting 11th out of 11.
So, again, like we've said before, we've been kind of up and down with the field sometimes, but again, when we are up and down like that, it doesn't really matter in the end. We always get our privy to some great and excellent racing. Gavin, you mentioned storylines and that we didn't have as many as usual now that the championship is over, but tonight we could have a new record set in most race wins in a single season. Terzak is going for 11, but he'll have to race the 125 laps around this half-mile oval to claim that victory, and he'll have to start in the mid-pack. 3 green, white checkered attempts. As always, they do have 2 tire sets available. Now, want to check on that because that was just a deal for the Triple Crown Showdown, so I would imagine that we might be keeping with what we have normally, 125 laps with no tires, but we will get the official word for you quickly. Gavin, what are you expecting from Stafford?
Well, I think it's going to depend on what that tire ruling comes down to be, really, because if you have to manage 125 laps on this half-mile flat racetrack, you might see tire failures when we get late in the race, and you might see guys have a tire go down, get that meatball flag, and have to go set behind the pits and just watch the end of the race. And that will be very frustrating for anybody, especially the guys that are fast competing for the win. So tire management is going to be your #1 priority tonight.
It definitely will be. It looks like it was just a 2-car invert, so it'll put Evan Hassler on the, both stay on the front row, but it'll put Evan Hassler on the inside of row #1. Christian Peterson, who set fastest time, will start on the outside of the front row. Gavin, you and I will get to talk about different lane choices once we get into it, but we are ready and set for action. It is Evan Hassler, Christian Peterson, row #1 for the final race of the Season 3 Misfit Touring Series. We are green at Stafford. Out of turn 2, Jake Grau looking low inside of Peterson. Kyle Terzak jumps to the bottom in front of Christopher Shepard. Peterson nearly scraping the wall out of 4 that time. That might have a little bit of wheel damage. He is pushing early to stay in front of Terzak, but Terzak has the dominant inside line here out of turn 2. Bradley Music looking to gain some ground off the back of Kyle Terzak right now. Peterson looking inside out of turn 4, but he will stay in line. Gavin, you can see how they enter low, and look at that. You can use the apron. You could race anywhere on this racetrack. There's asphalt.
Yeah, we were at Langley a few weeks ago talking about, using the apron. You saw guys use the apron there. This is the only thing similar to this in Langley is that you can use the apron. But I wanted to point that out because using the apron at a track like this, I think it's fun. I think it's fun to get down there, get that car a little bit extra turn, but it can be dangerous doing that. You can lose grip doing that, especially when you're getting back on the throttle. It looks like these guys tonight doing a pretty good job.
Well, and we're glad, and I think, interestingly enough, talking about using all this racetrack, how much does your setup matter when you're using that apron? Because it definitely is a big offset when it comes to the banking and trying to change how your car reacts.
I think the setup is still a very important part. I mean, you look up towards the front of this leaderboard and you see Hassler, Grout, Terzak, Peterson. Those are the 4 guys that we've seen up front all year because they have had consistent setups and they're very consistent drivers. So I don't think there's going to be a whole lot you can do to mask a bad setup, but you can make a good setup even better by using every inch of this racetrack.
Look at Riley Music. That's a beautiful 47, making a pass on the 19 of Christopher Shepard. That was a pass for the final spot in the top 5. It's still a very close bout between Terzak and Peterson for the 3rd position. Kyle Adams was looking to make a move early on John Leday for the 7th spot. This is the 4th start of the season for Adams, but it's the 15th start for both of these 2 drivers. Or excuse me, it's the 13th technically for Terzak, 15th for Christian Peterson, but you do get 2 drop races in the season. And as we said last week, it was Terzak taking home that championship. And then Christian Peterson, he would love to get another win. He won 2 races ago. So at this point, Gavin, if you're Kyle Adams, you're John Leday, and we got to get the word on tires, which I don't know if we will get the word because the guy who usually gives us the word is on the racetrack right now in that number blue and yellow 24 car, so we might not get the word at all. We may just have to play it by ear. But if you do have no extra sets of tires in this race this evening, how do you have to manage that?
You really got to roll these corners. Back up your entry, roll the corners, and do not slide your right front on corner entry or corner exit. When you get that lateral slide in and out of the corners, that heats up these tires a lot.
Plenty of time for these tires to get heated up, and it's easy to do it. It is hard to conserve them, and we are getting what could be a battle up at the front. Evan Hassler, Jake Grout. Grout has not won yet this season. He has plenty of podium finishes to his credit for the Season 3 Misfit Touring Series, but he has yet to get back on the top step of the podium this season. And Grout really has talked to us, Gavin, and he's just been kind of unhappy. Especially even finishing in third on the podium. He really wanted to be doing better, wanted to be challenging for wins, wanted to be already in victory lane, and I think just coming short of that all this season, even though he's had great and consistent finishes, it hasn't been enough for him.
No, there's something about not being able to cap off a race with that first place finish that just eats at you all season. It's not something that you're really that mad at the moment because, you know, when you're getting top 5s and top 3s, that's really good. But that just nagging every week, oh man, I didn't win. What could I have done better? What could I have done better? That eats away at you. And by the end of the season, when you don't have a win, you can find yourself in a situation where you can make a mistake driving the car too hard.
Grout, he's dropped back by a couple tenths of a second. So made a little bit of an error and maybe reeling back. Gavin, how much does track temperature come into play? See the sun, it's kind of setting, but not truly setting. 69 degrees ambient temperature, 83 degrees track temperature. That's fairly cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think with the track being pretty cool, you can drive it a little bit harder than normal. You're going to have a little more grip. But like I was saying, like we were talking, if this is a race where you have to keep your tires under these whole 125 laps, I think you're going to have to drive closer to that 70 or 80% anyway, so you're not going to be driving hard enough to feel the effects of a cooler track than we're used to.
It's 18 laps in the books, 19 next time we come across, and the gap for the lead between Grout and Hassler has maintained itself at around 5 to 6 tenths of a second, but Christian Peterson has gotten around Terzak once again, so Peterson has gotten himself back up into the third spot, and wow, we are very close here. John Ledet is passing in the grass and spun around is Riley Music in the number 47. He's off the racetrack right now, but has backed it onto the track. We remain green, though.
Yeah, he kept using the apron to get a little bit extra turn. I assume the car was tight, but I saw his left front get into the grass a little bit, and I don't know if it was really the curb there or just the lack of grip in the grass that just pulled the car the rest of the way around.
We mentioned the different lines that can be run in 1 and 2 versus 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 really is used as kind of a diamond line, as you saw Kyle Adams tag the wall out of turn 2. You enter low in turn 1, let the car drift up a lane, and then cut right back down. And it's privy that a lot of drivers use that exit of turn 2 and really drive it down to the apron. I would love to see if it was a misstep by Riley Music completely, just getting loose on the apron, or if there was a little contact from the front bumper of the 19. We'll check as well. You know, we mentioned him talking and cutting into the grass a little bit. John Ledet will get past Shepard, and it's a 2-for-1 loss for the 19 of Shepard. Kyle Adams will follow the 22 of Ledet on through.
Yeah, that diamond line seems to be widening out as the race goes on. You saw him using it just a little bit right there at the start. Now we're, you know, a fifth of the way through the race, and it just seems to be getting a little bit more and a little bit more noticeable. And now we have Jake Grout falling into the crutches of this battle behind him.
Jake Grout has lost a little bit of time. Evan Hassler has been fairly steady up at the front, started on pole from the 2-car invert, and he has stayed there ever since, but now he is trying to gain on his lead in front of Jake Grout. But Grout definitely does seem to be slowing down, and I think that's just a trend of the season that we have seen here in the late portion of the season, because I think, Gavin, throughout the first 9 races, we would see Grout start out, you know, near the back of the field, and he was find a way to work himself into the top 5. But I would say in the past 2, 3, or 4 races, we've seen him start up near the front and slowly drift backwards.
And that might be a setup thing. They might have been setting it up for the long run at the start of the year, and he would, qualify a little bit slower, work his way up. But obviously that didn't work. He didn't get to victory lane, so maybe it's a different mentality in the second half of the season where they're trying the opposite approach, trying for short run speed. But right now it doesn't look like short run speed's helping him much either.
Oh, definitely not. He has dropped about half a second in the past 4 laps, so the switch has really flipped for whatever is going wrong under the 49, and with the driver, with the car, whatever is happening, it is all going wrong very fast, and this has put Christian Peterson under attack from Kyle Turzak. Turzak has been looking low on the 71 for the past couple of laps as they have caught the 49. Peterson needs to make this pass quickly, or Turzak will take advantage.
Yeah, Turzak using like the line we were talking about in 1 and 2, he seems to be rolling the bottom a lot tighter than these cars in front of him, and that might be keeping his tire wear from getting to be as bad as everyone else. He might just have a little more momentum now, and it might start showing even more as we go on, riding along with him through 1 and 2 right here.
Right along with Kyle Turzak, listen along for the beautiful sounds of what is late model stock racing.
And you got a really good look at what he did there in 1 and 2, rolling the bottom a little bit more. You can see Peterson and Grout get outside there in the middle of turn 1 and 2 a little more, really driving it deep off in there.
He really does enter deep, and he doesn't really let it drift up too high off of turn 2. I would like to see how that affects his right front later in the race, and he is right there, little contact to the rear of Peterson. You could see as we rode along, it is a deep entry for the 15 of Kyle Turzak. That was just fun. It's fun to watch this helicopter cam now. Jake Grout, he's either putting up a great defense or Peterson's really just not attacking too much.
Well, like we were talking about, this racetrack has been pretty one line all the way through the race, and you could really get a good look at it from that last camera angle, especially in 3 and 4.
Whoa, there we go. Peterson is going around
too.
Off of the nose of Turzak. Turzak will straighten him up so we don't get a caution, nor will he serve an EOL. He'll let the 71 back by, but that is the sweat off the bead of the brow for the 49 of Jake Grout, because his two competitors are now more than a second and a half back. But yep, just a little tight through the center for the 71. Like you said, Gavin, the 15 could really roll clean on through, and it was just a difference of speed of the center entry.
Yeah, the 15 could just carry a lot more speed through the center, and when the 71 was trying to cut back down to get that drive off, he had to let off a little more in the center of the corner. Turzak didn't, and it just, 2 different lines collided right there. You gotta wonder how much damage these cars have. It doesn't look like they have very much, but the 15 definitely got into the door of the 71, so I'm wondering if there's any front end damage on the 15 or any wheel damage to the left front on the 71.
I'd love to see the right front for the 15. Doesn't look like anything. Looking all good right now. Looks like Peterson is going to let the 15 go back by. And I guess maybe Peterson doesn't want to see another incident like that, so he's going to let the 15 go on by. But I'm kind of surprised to see that move from the 71. So as we roll, Evan Hassler still maintains his lead in this game, just a couple more tenths, 1.4 tenths of a second for him. And with that near spin by Christian Peterson, it is a 3.6 second gap from Turzak to the leader of Evan Hassler. Pretty much this battle for third is really your closest battle on the racetrack. Any other drivers are about a second and a half apart. So really, we've gotten pretty strung out here, Gavin.
Yeah, field's getting good and spread out. Now it's just about managing the heat in your tires, managing the gap to the car either behind you or in front of you, figuring out if you want to push now while everything is spread out, try to pick up time where you can, or if you want to lay back and just kind of wait it out and see how much speed you can gain at the end of this run.
Check out with the 36 of Hudson Geiger. He's hanging out in 8th spot, and he's just been riding there just about a second back from the 19 of Christopher Shepard. Shepard, he stayed in 7th ever since he got passed by John Leday and Kyle Adams. All right, we're going to go to a quick side-by-side with 918 Designs, and we will be back in not too long, but check it out. We'll keep you right here, side-by-side. Welcome back to Stafford Motor Speedway. Thanks to 918 Designs by presenting our side-by-side. My name is Scott Shive. I am joined alongside by Gavin Grubbs, as well as our excellent producer, Morgan Cook, and our cameras provided to you by Dougie Beard. So, we are 45 laps in the books from Stafford Motor Speedway. We are still caution-free, Gavin, but we've been close about twice from having one.
Yeah, we saw the incident between Terzak and Peterson earlier, but they got everything sorted out. But we've been right along with Hudson Geiger. This car is not behaving the way he wants it to. He is really loose on corner entry. He's been kind of washing up the track as the rear end jumps out from behind him, but he's doing a good job keeping it pointed straight. Just, you got to wonder, how is this, wow, is he going to be able to hold on for another 80 laps?
Very shades of gray for Landon Atkinson. We see a lot of that out of Landon in the 11, and we hope that he'll be back next season. But Hudson Geiger looking just like a mere reflection of what we see out of the 11 sometimes, just getting those right rear tires overheated and just continue to slip and slip and slip farther into the abyss. It is still the 15 of Terzak holding second place, and I think the 71 has to have some sort of damage because that car is definitely not racing the same. Here's a leader of Evan Hassler getting into lap traffic. This was the 47 of Riley Music, who we saw spin around after getting into the grass off turn 2.
Yeah, and I expect Riley Music to actually battle pretty hard here, despite not even being to the halfway mark yet. As spread out as the field is, I don't think you can count on being in the lucky dog position. I think you have to fight to stay on the lead lap for as long as you can and fight as hard as you can.
Yeah.
See those musical notes on the car?
Yeah,
Scott?
that is awesome how that is ingrained into the paint scheme. And Riley Music, I mean, he's known for some great paint schemes over at Langley, where he runs normally in his late model stock and limited late model times. But he runs a paint scheme just like this, and they are very vibrant, very colorful. It's something that always catches my eye. I love the scheme he ran this year at the Hampton Heat 200. I should say last year. I'd love to see what he does again and see what they do. Maybe they'll run the full Virginia Triple Crown, but you never know. But he's always getting good practice here on the iRacing side.
Yeah, and it's always fun, even when you're in a league and it's somebody you race with a lot. Anytime you see these guys that race at any sort of high level in real life, seeing them on the iRacing service, getting to race against them, it's just fun. It just immerses you that much more in the sim racing experience. And I love seeing guys that, compete at a high level in real life being here on the sim with us.
I do. It's cool, Gavin. You're connected with a lot of high-ranking people, a lot of high-running drivers. And, to our producer, Morgan, as well, as we get a V-Speed instant replay here of Hudson Geiger in the number 36. The car, he said he's been fighting loose, and whoa, nearly a big moment there out of turn 4, and he's just going to whoosh on away. Just like magic, and Hudson Geiger is gone. He's not being able to be read by the iRacing timing screen, so currently 2 laps down, and he might have disconnected from the session.
Yeah, he might have, and honestly, that might be a good call. When you're a little bit behind everybody else like that, your car is putting you in a situation where if you get turned around in front of the leaders that you can cause an accident. I think that might have been a good move by him if he chose to disconnect there.
Well, what I was going to say, and as well talking to our producer, Gavin will sometimes just talk to me, and he's racing or talking to these people really high up in NASCAR like it is absolutely nothing. And it always bewilders me and makes me laugh. So that's why we love to see awesome and drivers come up in here that we know race in real life and say, hey, I've seen that guy or that gal.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to see if we could get Jade Avedizian in some late model stock racing on the iRacing side. That would be fun. See if we can talk to Lainey Bice. Maybe we'll send her a message and see like, hey, you want to do some late model stock racing on the iRacing side? I swear it'll be fun.
Yeah.
We've had the pleasure of meeting the two of them, and
yeah,
that has been fun. I would love to have the pleasure of meeting some of these guys on the MRL side. I actually might get to meet Kyle Terzak this upcoming season as I get to call races at South Boston, and he might be coming to join us for a couple races in his limited sportsman,
nice.
or as we call it, the limited sportsman over there. It's the limited late model in most other places, but we might get to see him. They're currently, this is a battle for the 6th spot. Christopher Shepard is now trying to get past back Kyle Adams. He's doing it slowly and methodically on the inside. That's a nice, good, clean pass.
That was a really good job there. It was a good racecraft by both of them. Kyle Adams knows that we're just now approaching halfway. He just let him on by. He might just be riding in his tire tracks right there, trying to mirror the same lap times. And actually looking at it, he might have a little bit of damage on the right front. That right front tire seems to be poking out a little bit from the fender, as we see Hudson Geiger back on the track too.
Hudson Geiger is back, but he is 8 laps down after not being scored and having some sort of internet connection issues. Jumping back again, 3rd place, 4th place, 3rd for Kyle Terzak, and 4th for Christian Peterson. They've stayed at a fairly steady gap of about half a second. So whatever happened to the 71 of Christian Peterson in the incident between these two, it hasn't made him so much slower that he would continue to fall back, but it's enough to where I think he's not able to fight or attack at this moment.
Yeah,
you go ahead.
I was wondering if he's, following in line, just trying to match the pace of this 15 car right in front of him. Maybe he doesn't have damage. Maybe he's just choosing not to attack because we have so long left. If he can just keep him in his sights and then at the end, try to make a move.
I think it's definitely a possibility. I think that is a dangerous call, however, because sometimes when you allow Kyle Terzak to go on past you, sometimes it is really, really difficult to get on back by him.
Yeah. He really has been the dominant guy this year.
He has. And, that's why I was very surprised that Peterson let him go on by when, it didn't really seem like it was an attack. It seemed like Kyle Terzak gave him the spot after turning him around, as we see Hassler continuing to ride behind the 47 of Riley Music. Not too much ground gained in this time, though, for Hassler sitting back here. Not too much time gained for the 49 of Jake Grout. I think Hassler is really in a league of his own right now tonight, at least for now. I'd be interested to see what would happen if we got a caution and Kyle Terzak was able to put himself back in the mix.
Yeah, and I gotta wonder. I see that lead just continuing to grow, and Hassler might even have more in the tank because we're watching him follow Riley Music, who has himself slid back all the way to the very end of the lead lap. He's doing a good job fighting to stay on it, but Hassler might not even be pushing right now as we're watching this lead continue to grow.
Lead continues to grow, and Terzak, he is struggling. He is loose into turn 1, wicked loose, and it has allowed Peterson to catch up. That half a second gap, a deficit he had to the 15 is now completely erased, and an issue has really developed here for the 15 of Terzak.
Maybe the 71, like we were saying, was saving. No, caution's out.
Caution is out. 24, Kyle Adams has gone around, and what was a 70-lap green flag run has now dissipated.
Did he get some help?
Oh, and he might have of Hudson Geiger 8 laps down, right on the coattails of the 24 of Adams here into 1. Nothing happening just yet. Yeah, there we go. Hudson Geiger can get right in him. That is extremely frustrating. You're 8 laps down. There's really no need for something like that.
Yeah, and I think when we saw him go behind the pit wall for a minute because of connection issues, he came back out, and, you know, his tires are going to be way cooler than everybody else, even though they're the same amount of worn, and he just underestimated the difference in speed going into turn 1. That didn't look like he intentionally wrecked anybody, and I don't think you would be, you know, causing something like that on purpose in that situation. So I think it's just a case of a misjudgment and an ill-handling race car, because it also looked like he was a little bit unstable when he was there in the center of the corner. It looked like it was starting to get away from him. So we see Jake Grout win the race off pit road.
Jake Grout winning the race off pit road, and was that a 2-tire call? But yeah, it looks like the call was correct about the tires originally. You and I wanted to double check. We wanted to make sure. But yep, drivers were allowed to come in and get tires. This could really change the race for Jake Grout, because we could see that he was struggling, but he was still able to maintain that second place.
Yeah, and I think at this point, nobody's going to have to save really either. We went 73 laps, or I guess about 71 laps on that first run. Now we're going to have to go about 50, and with the field being bunched up, knowing you don't have to save as much, we could see a few more cautions, and that'll allow these teams to be able to afford to not save even then, to push even harder for a shorter amount of time.
That's an idea that really, really scares me. And we saw that the 36 of Hudson Geiger stayed out. It'll allow him to get the wave around right here, as we will get the field to start bunching up as we get the white flag 1 to go. It'll be Evan Hassler on the outside, just getting beat out by the 49 of Grout on pit exit. And it'll be the 15 of Turzak inside of row 2. Looks like Christian Peterson will be outside of row number 2. This could get fun. This could get interesting. It'll be 51 laps to go this time by. Fresh tires on these drivers. Less laps to go. Aggression could ramp up. Green flag back in the air at Stafford for the season finale.
AJ Grout did a really good job getting to the lead.
Contact between Turzak and Hassler. 15 of Turzak leaned on that left front of Evan Hassler. Pushed Hassler down up on the outside. This might have been the revival that Turzak needed.
Hassler did a good job keeping it out of the wall out of 4. I really thought he was about to go right into that outside wall.
Turzak clear for second now, and Peterson has the door open, backs out of it. So he'll remain in 4th behind 3rd place Evan Hassler. Currently in 5th, it's John Leday. He's moving up as drivers following each other into the wall out of 4.
Everybody getting in line behind Jake Grout right now. Just under 50 to go. How long do you think it's going to be before we start seeing moves?
At this point, I don't know. A lot of people right now will be thinking about, they might not be thinking about much. They might not fully be thinking at this point. And that, hopefully, we could see some cautions because of that, but hopefully we don't. Hopefully everybody keeps their wits about them, but boy, we are close together. Look at these top 4, no more than a car length between all 4 of them. John Leday, 5th car back in line. It's got about a 10th and a half to 4th place Christian Peterson, but when does somebody pull the trigger? When does one make the move?
Yeah, that's what we're going to find out here shortly, and I think it's going to be sooner rather than later, because Jake Grout's only on 2 tires and everybody else behind him is on 4. And you can tell that he's on 2 tires. Just watch him on corner exit.
Yeah, you can really tell. Turzak looked low that time out of turn 2. Did not take it, but right along with Jake Grout as he continues to watch in his mirror. And Turzak, as we said, he's just able to rotate the center like nobody else. I think he just needed a break with a caution, some fresh tires, and he is definitely back in this game. The last thing the 38 of Hassler wanted to see, because he was driving away with it until that caution at lap 70. Oh my goodness, they are so close together, Gavin.
I was about to say, Turzak had to get out of it a little bit, because I thought there was about to be contact between him and Grout, and then Hassler was right on his rear bumper.
So pretty much no room now between these top five. Lede has been able to catch up just a little bit, but it is 3/10 back, or half a second back to Riley Music in the 47 for the 6th spot. That was a caution that he wanted. He was battling in the top 5 before he spun around out of turn 2, but Terzak, I mean, he is just hounding the 49 here, almost looked outside. Now he's gonna look low again, but looks like Grout will not leave him the lane. Terzak looks to force it.
Whoa!
Drifting it off the corner is the 49 of Jake Grout. He does not want to give it up. And there's the contact. There's the tap between the 15. Could we see it once more? I wouldn't be surprised if we see it again. Terzak looking low, knowing that he has the speed, he has the tire advantage. He's not going to play too kindly with Grout, but you have to be careful, Gavin. You don't want to spin him around and get an EOL.
You don't want to spin him around and give him an EOL, and you don't want to overheat your tires trying to get this position. We still have 40 laps to go. There's going to be more opportunities to get around him. You just need to stay in line and wait on him to make the mistake.
But if you stay in line, Gavin, what does the 38 do? Maybe he takes the move on you.
Yeah, you can, but it just seems like Kyle Terzak's been able to use the apron a little bit better than everybody else and just roll the bottom, get more turn into the center, and I think the longer this run goes, the more of an advantage he's going to have.
Definitely Hassler is going to have to take some time. It's Hassler is going to get into the 15, a big tap to the back of the 15. They door check each other down the straightaway. Terzak was able to save it. Hassler now inside. He'll give him the door. He pushes Terzak up the track, and Peterson will try to follow him through. Grout again gets more breathing room.
This is giving Grout a huge advantage. It's really allowing everyone else's inside tires to heat back up and kind of even the playing field for Jake Grout up front, and he's loving what he's seeing behind him because these three, we've seen them, especially the second half of this season. These cars are magnets for each other. They can't seem to stay out.
Whoa! Nearly a wreck for the 15, and it would look like Lede got the tail of the 15 once again, so Terzak's kind of just get pushed around. Let's check it out once again. It was Peterson trying to go by the 15. They are playing it close. They make door contact down the straightaway here as the 15 nearly got into the wall. So they door check each other, and here comes John Lede. 15 was trying to get himself in line. The hole was there for an instant, but John Lede filled it.
Yeah, John Lede went for a hole that was there, but it closed up. I think he had a little bit more room to go down to the bottom to avoid that, right? But I also, you know, Terzak was trying to stop that run. I think John Lede just kind of called his bluff and kept going.
I think this is some of the aggression that we see from Terzak sometimes that can get him in trouble. He really shows a lot of maturity through a lot of his races, but sometimes we got to remember that he is still a young driver. He's still a kid, and he's still learning some of the racing maturity. And so it's moments like those that we see out of him that say he's definitely still got room to grow. And it's crazy to say that he's as good as he is at his age at 16 years old, because the room for continued growth, Gavin, is exponential.
Yeah, when we're looking at a guy who's this fast, this young, we see that a lot. But the one thing that I think is separating Kyle, especially on iRacing, from a lot of young drivers, is his racecraft and decision making. I mean, we've seen him able to win 10 races this year, but in a moment like that, you know, he might have got over aggressive. You say the same thing about Lede, but you know, there's nothing to lose. Everybody's point situation is pretty much settled. Wow. Well, Lede heavy into the wall there. That, I think the right side of that car starting to get pretty beat up and worn out.
Yeah, he already had some damage from a little bit of contact with him in the 15. It's right along with John Lede. Out of turn 2 this time. He's still clean and green here. I think it was out of turn 4 that we saw him take this damage. He was riding in the 6th spot. Christopher Shepard was able to get around him after this. Yeah, big time loose out of 4. That's a pretty hard smack towards the outside wall.
Yeah, and I'm questioning why he was pushing that hard in that situation. He didn't really have any cars super close to him, and he just throttled up a little bit early, and stayed in it when he could have let out a little bit to even the car back out. But what I was saying earlier before that is everyone's point situation for the year is pretty much settled. Everybody is going for every position, every inch.
Oh.
There's no reason to give in the last race of the season when you are pretty much where you are in points. There's nothing to give here. Everything
pretty
to
much,
take.
yeah, everything to take. Pretty much only thing on the line is where you finish and the win. And Jake Grout made that call when he decided to pit for 2 tires, and the battling between these 3, like you said, that have been some of the best all season, Terzak, Peterson, and Hassler when he's joined us more recently in the late half of the season. It's all playing perfectly into the hands of the blue 49 that is at the lead.
Yeah, but I'm starting to watch, and it seems like these cars behind him are starting to reel him back in. We saw when that almost incident happened earlier that Jake was able to kind of leg out a little bit of that lead, but now it's just slowly closing back up. With 25 to go, they're not going to be patient when they get to him this time.
They will not be patient. I don't think pretty much anybody will be patient with anyone. And so Hassler, they are slowly closing bit by bit. Lap times currently, it is about 8/100ths of a second faster for the second place car of Hassler on Jake Grout. And I don't know if there's enough time that Grout can hold this off because they're slowly marching forward towards him.
Yeah, I really like watching this onboard with Terzak today because I love watching him roll 1 and 2 where everybody else is doing that diamond line like you talked about, where they're trying to get that extra drive off, but he's just gaining so much ground in the center.
So Terzak, he's got to be careful. Remember last time that he was behind the 71, he got into him and nearly spun him off turn 2. You do not want something like that to happen now because it would absolutely take you out of this fight for the win for the both of you. So you got to be careful. And look at Terzak, he's wicked loose. We said it, and Morgan Cook said it. He used up that right rear in the first run, and he may have just done the same in this second run, battling too intensely with the 49.
Yeah, and you look at that 15, there's a little bit of damage on the right front, so he might have been driving harder than everyone else to, compensate for the damage, and now it's caught up to him.
So 20 laps remain from Stafford Motor Speedway, and 20 laps remain in the Season 3 Misfit Touring Series. Can't believe that we are already bringing it to a close in what seemed like we just started just a few short weeks ago. It was a couple of months ago, and really, like you said, Gavin, nothing really to give here, and it's all to take. A race win is on the line. It would be a season first for Jake Grout, and he's yet to win all the season. It would be a second race win of the season for Evan Hassler. It would be a 4th race win of the season for the 71 car of Peterson, and it would be a record-breaking 11th win of the season for Kyle Terzak if he could do it.
And do you know whose record he would be breaking?
His own. Oh, and he's getting loose. He got in the rear of the 71 again. He's jeopardizing it all.
That's on me. That's the announcer jinx right there. But Jake Grout's lead's gone.
Yeah, pretty much. Evan Hassler is here. He led all of the opening 70 laps until we came into the pits, and it was Jake Grout taking 2 tires when the rest took 4. And right now the strategy's holding up, but I don't think he'll be able to survive the attack of the 38. I think if the 38 gives the 49 a bump, then the 49 is going up to the outside, and Hassler, once he's to the inside, I think he will make the pass.
Yeah, but you got to make that move quick because once the 71 gets to you, you're going to have to be playing offense and defense at the same time, and that's what Jake Grout wants to do, is make Hassler play offense and defense simultaneously.
So at this point, the 49 is hoping he can hold up the 38 just enough so that the 71 can bring himself back into the picture. He was in the picture until the 15 got up under his rears again. They had words over the radio once more, and I imagine that it was not very kind words between the two of them, because you get the one time, or the one time I wouldn't say it's a freebie, but it's like, okay. But the second time, it's like, all right, man, are you kidding me?
Yeah. 1 strike's okay. 2 strikes, I'm mad. 3 strikes. 3 strikes you're out, you might see something happen.
19, Christopher Shepard. You saw him battling with the 47 Rally Music. That was for the last spot in the top 5, but 13 laps to go. And honestly, Hassler is kind of stalled out. They're running pretty much all about the same lap times now. So has that tire advantage worn off now, Gavin?
I think that it has, and I think that's what Jake Grout was wanting to do earlier, was make those 3 cars behind him really battle, and that battle's turned into a 2-car battle. But now that we say that, Hassler's right back there at his bumper.
And so is Christian Peterson. He's caught up with them as well. Do you think the 38 of Hassler might be laying back just a little to have enough fresh tires or his tires cool enough to attack in these last 10 laps?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know why you would, or I can understand why you would want to push super hard early in the run. But if you push too hard and your tires get too hot, then you can get ran back down from behind. He wants to make this move with just a little bit of enough time left in the end so that no one else can get back to him. And he's waiting on that moment, and I think it's coming up here in the next handful of laps, or it better be, because we are only at 10 to go now.
Hassler definitely has better entry speed, but it's Jake Grout who pulls momentum on the exit of the corners, and Hassler, I don't know, that time in turn 2, he was very tight on exit. Seems like he's kind of pushing now, and it's not going his way. Kind of slipped back a little bit in time by about a 10th, but this is really all in Jake Grout's hands right now.
Yeah, Jake's doing a really good job. He heard us talking earlier that, you know, he hasn't won this year and that all the mistakes you can make, and he's only got a few more laps to hold on now, as he's extending that lead back out to a little more than a car length.
He is. He's great at driving off these corners. It looks like Hassler a little bit tight, able to stay even with him that time. So Hassler, he's still got something in the tank. Now I think we're seeing full court press. It is a full push for the 38 of Hassler. He wants a second win on the season, but Grout, he is going to be more defensive. He wants his first win of the season.
Yeah, look now, Hassler's, like I was saying earlier, Hassler's playing both offense and defense. He's having to keep that 71 behind him, and that's helping Jake Grout a little bit more. As I'm looking at timing and scoring, that lead just slightly gains, just a couple hundredths, usually every lap.
Grout is just able to stay consistent through these lap times and through his line on the racetrack. He is doing everything that needs to be done right now to maintain this lead, but he'll have to be perfect if he wants to cap it off with a trip to victory lane.
He's doing a really good job defending. He's rolling the bottom line. He's not taking as wide of a center of the corner, and he's being able to have more consistent drive off, where Hassler, sometimes he does get that big run, but ever so often he washes up in the center and just can't get the power down like he needs to. Here we go, battle for second.
Battle for second is on, and if this battle consummates, it will be leave the door wide open for the 49. And look at that, Hassler is going to let him blow on by. He'll try to get the run down the straightaway. This is perfect. This is exactly what Grout wanted to see in his mirror. The pressure is all off of him. Peterson has made the move for second. Hassler will try to make the run down into 3. He'll stay in line.
And look at that lead now. It's over half of a second. Jake Grout just has to limit mistakes and bring it home now.
Limiting mistakes and bringing it home. Battle for second is still on. Hassler looking inside. He'll have one more lap to try it. But here we go, 49, bright blue machine. Jake Grout is coming around out of turn 4 to take the white flag at Stafford Motor Speedway. Jake Grout has said it himself. It has been a subpar season. And in 14 races, he has only finished outside of the top 5 2 times. But he wanted more. He said, I have enough under me to get a win. He's done it before, and he'll do it again. But for the first time in Season 3, Jake Grout is a winner. Send him to victory lane. It took him all season, but it was worth the wait.
He did what he had to do, what he wasn't able to do all year. Limit those mistakes, keep himself in the right position. all race long, and he capped off 125 laps with the win. And hey, there's some other burnouts going on, it looks like.
Evan Hassler
Everybody's
having
having fun.
Kyle Turzak having some fun. We're all having some fun. Christian Peterson, why are we not joining in the mix here? Evan, you'll have to ask him that as he finished second in front of Evan Hassler. We need some celebratory donut. There we go.
There he
There we
goes.
go. We're all having some fun in the front straightaway. Yeah, I love the iRacing community. We have some fun. We love to have some fun.
Take a lap around the short track.
Oh, let's do it. What a great day this has been, and what a great way to cap off our season. We'll let these guys continue to have some fun, and we'll get back to you in just a moment with results and interviews as we see Jake Grout park it in victory lane at Stafford Motor Speedway. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish! Too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time when Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa.
Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and the results from the final race of the Season 3 Misfit Touring Series are in. Jake Grout gets the win, the first of his season, and Christian Peterson comes up just shy once more after posting fastest time. Evan Hassler did not get that second win of this season, finishes on the podium in third. Kyle Turzak just used it up late on that last run, finishes in fourth. Rally Music able to recover to a top 5. Christopher Shepard fifth in points, but just misses the top 5 this evening. John Leday, after hitting the wall, will finish in 7th, and it was Brady Pope, newcomer tonight, finishing in 8th spot. Hudson Geiger, multiple laps down, will finish 9th. Kyle Adams will finish in 10th, and it's Tanner Berge rounding out the field, 102 laps down, or 121 laps down, excuse me. And, well, Gavin, let's bring in your winner. Let's get to talk to Jake Grout. Jake Grout, you got a copy?
I sure do.
Man, it's been plenty of times I've been talking to you this season, but you've usually been the second driver I've been talking to, and you made it known with me and a lot of the other people you've chatted with that it's been a subpar season for you, even though you've had plentiful amounts of top 5s and plenty of podiums, that you knew that you could seat yourself in victory lane once again, and you really waited to the last moment.
Yeah, I felt like there was multiple races this season I could have won, and I would either mess up on pit road, mess up on the track, or get caught up in something. And honestly, tonight was one of the better nights. I got a really good pit stop and made some mistakes on that last green flag run, but was able to hold off Evan and Turzak, and they got into it and got racing a little bit. But finally.
Yeah, seriously. And did you think at this point when we got the caution, what were you thinking about when you came to pit road?
I knew I had a good shot. I've had a lot of laps here. I kind of knew what to expect, and I just had to nail pulling into my pit box, and I think we did just that. We were able to pull away from Evan and Turzak and come out in the lead, which was huge because I knew if I came out in second, had to start on the top, it was gonna be over with. So nailed that, and we're just able to put in some decent enough laps to hold them off.
You mentioned, hoping the 71 and the 38 would kind of start fighting with each other, and they really only did with about 5 laps to go. Before that point, around lap 115 with about 10 to go, it really looked like Hassler was coming on there. What was your plan of defense if he was going to be able to get to you, which eventually he didn't have enough?
Yeah, I kind of was in ride mode there for a little bit, just trying to save tires in case we got another caution or he was able to get there and just have something to fight him. And we had enough. I kind of started to push once he got there, and we're able to pull back away, luckily.
Well, it's great to get to talk to you, Jake, as always, and it's great to get to talk to you for the first time from Victory Lane this season, a place where you've been working towards all season long. Glad you're finally here. Anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I gotta thank AW Clark Builders, JNS Sales and Service, White's Heating, Curly Transport, RCAM Setup Shop, KBR, Grout Motorsports, you guys for broadcasting it, Adams and the whole admin crew for putting it on. I know it's been kind of a struggle with car count and stuff this season, but it's been fun, and hopefully we can get it done again next season.
Well, we'll be excited to see you back in the next Misfit Touring Series Season 4, and hopefully we'll get to see you at the Summer Series starting in May.
Thank you.
Jake Grout, a winner at Stafford Motor Speedway and parking it in Victory Lane. Gavin, I will send it over to you to get to talk with Christian Peterson.
Making a little entrance for us again with the Eagle screech there.
I don't know how to turn it off. I apologize, boys.
Hey, that one was fun.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's good. They've both been fun. Christian, you started on the pole tonight. Really did a good job staying up front. Stayed in the top 4 all night. Had a few moments. How did you stay composed and rebound when a few moments happened?
Yeah, I think it's just last race things. The 4 of us were really quick up there. Even Alade, I think he seemed pretty quick once we got a yellow. And then yeah, just Terzak got in the back of me. I was trying to stay off the guys in front of me, and it was just a small little checkup at first. And then when he hit me in the left front, after I was spinning there, it kind of gave me some toe damage. It slowed me down a little bit, but then the car came back to me when we got that long run. And then it just seemed like the same thing happened again. Like the top 3, or really the 4 of us, were like under a blanket, and just small little checkups cause big wrecks like that, or whatever, big incidents. But Terzak let me by, so I appreciated that. And then I let him back by just because my car was a little off. But all in all, it was a good race. I thought the 4 of us were really fast, really even. So just really hard to get a run off the corners and set it up for entry, unless you were just willing to send it down on the apron and kind of use the guy up. Probably should have done that, but didn't really want to. So it was a fun race.
Yeah, and that's one thing I was noticing is some of the guys were using the apron, some were using more of that diamond line in 1 and 2. What was your mindset through most of the race in that situation?
I definitely liked the diamond line going down to the apron, especially in 1 and 2. But I mean, it's so tough. Just like when you're on somebody's bumper like that, you kind of gotta go high to try to set up a run. But if they hit it really good, then you're not really gonna get the run. But if you go lower than them, it's almost impossible to get the run unless they mess up and miss the corner or something. 3 and 4 actually gained a lot of grip there late. It seemed like on the apron. I don't know what happened. It must have just been cool because it seemed like you got the left sides down there. It really worked well, but just trying to go where people weren't, but just couldn't get the runs we needed.
Yeah, I got you. Lastly, do you have anybody you want to thank or shout out for the end of this great season you had? Finished second tonight, second overall in the season.
Yeah, just got to thank all the drivers that showed up first of all, and then and Kyle and everybody at MRL that puts on the show. Been a long season, been fun. We've had some really good battles, even with the car count, but the racing's been quality, I thought. So it's still a lot of fun. You guys for doing the broadcast all season, been fun to go back and watch and share it to everybody and all the friends. So thank you guys. And lastly, just everybody at Trick and everybody who hangs out and build setups together for this thing. Yeah, like you guys are awesome. So wouldn't be here without those guys. So yeah, thank you.
Everybody, that's Christian Peterson with the second place finish tonight.
Well, and it doesn't look like we have Evan Hassler, who finished third place this evening, so that will most likely conclude our interviews, unless we want to get to talk to Kyle Terzak. Let's go catch Kyle Terzak. Let's get to chat with him. Gavin, we can chime in on this both. What's up, Terzak? I mean, we figured it out last race for sure, but now with the season over, you are officially the season 3 champion.
Yeah, actually, I was just watching a replay. Didn't expect to get this interview, but hey, we're here. That kind of
What were you looking at? Tell us.
I was watching the whole incident with me and Christian. I mean, it's completely my fault, but it's whatever. It's just one bad race, you know. It happens. But yeah, Other than that, season's been great. Had a lot of fun. Just with the low car count, we definitely had a ton of battles, which was a lot of fun. Irwindale was probably a key factor this season because I knew that I'm not really that good right there, and I realized that I kind of had to make up some points to lock it up. But overall, fun season, fun race for the most part. So yeah.
Well, will we be seeing you get to fight for maybe a Summer Series championship?
No, sadly not. They're doing Tuesday nights, and I got a league right now on Tuesday nights with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Matter of fact, so that's number one priority right now. So had a ton of fun with the Misfit racing leagues this season. I might come back for the summer series just to do a couple one offs. I know that they don't have any drop weeks, so I'm going to be 2 weeks behind by the time that season is over. So it's just going to be there for trophies, I guess. So yeah, I might come out for one or two races, but I don't think I would be in the points on it all.
Well, it's always good to get to chat with you, man. Hope to get to see you in real life at the racetrack this season. But congratulations again on your championship, much deserved.
Thank you, fellas.
That's Kyle Turzak, officially now your Season 3 champion of the Misfit Touring Series. Gavin, it has been a pleasure being able to do this with you. I would love to hear your thoughts on this season as a whole.
Man, it was so fun. I got to be here for, I think, a little more than half of the races. But man, just what a fun fall and winter and spring to get to watch these guys race Misfit Touring Series. Kyle Turzak just dominant all year long, and then you had so many good highlights. That battle for the win at Lanier between him and Hasler was spectacular. The races that we called, the crazy drama that we saw at Langley, and then the long runs and races like tonight that we got to see. We got to see a little bit of everything. Short runs, long runs, chaotic races, close finishes, or just absolute dominance. We had a little bit of everything, and man, it was just a pleasure being around for it.
Well, I agree with you, man. And, we talked about car count, and I think the drivers mentioned it as well. If you would like to join the Misfit Racing League, go to racemrl.com for more information. They got plenty of other leagues. They've got the Track Masters, one track for a couple of weeks and see who can become the Track Master champion. They change that up every couple of months, and there's plenty. There's street stock racing. They do what they call the Crandon Dashes on Friday nights as a league, and some dirt series racing at Crandon. There's just a ton of fun going on the side of Misfit Racing, and it's just tons of fun. We get the pleasure and honor of getting to call the Touring Series each and every year and continue to hope in the continuation of it into Season 4. Check all this out on V-Speed. We got shows going on every day of the week. We got a lot of hardworking people behind the scenes, including our producer, Morgan Cook, who's done an excellent job all season long. Cameras have been provided to you by Dougie Beard tonight from Stafford Motor Speedway, and I have been joined alongside by Gavin Grubbs, my excellent color commentator and one of my good friends. My name is Scott Shive. I have been glad to be doing this all season. Hope to be back next season. Congratulations to Jake Grout on his first win of the season and Kyle Turzak on his championship for Season 3. We'll see you next time on V-Speed.